right? And that conviction maybe is what could get him a win, considering that multifaceted approach did not work for his bro when we saw this exact matchup between MarineLorD and Lucifron. Let's see if VortiX can find a solution, or if countering one Spaniard will counter them both.
All right, well, game number 3 begins. English, Chinese. We're going to make sure we switch over the income to the villages, so you guys have got a bit of an idea of where all of these villages are. And take a look at that. I mean, you can see where all these Chinese villages are right now. They are on wood. Literally every villager here on wood. Well, there's two on food now, but I think those are fish vills.
The Chinese woodpecker, right? They love to just munch on that. They want to be able to sustain double dock opening very quickly into fishing boats, so it makes a lot of sense. And one thing to highlight is something that could have really changed the way and the dynamics of this matchup is that sometimes we get that forward wood spawn that the Chinese player can more easily kind of funnel and defend. With this spawn, the opening of men-at-arms is very viable for VortiX, which is why you're seeing the immediate commitment into the racks.
Yeah, this is a bit of an interesting one. I'm curious how he looks to defend this. We talked about it before, how there's always the possibility that you can kind of sink yourself into the wood line. I'd love to really see this. You know, the cost of doing that is probably something like 42 wood. It's such a small investment, and there's no way that someone's going to bring vills all that way to chop through this early on in the game. I mean, if you're going for a man-at-arm timing as the Holy Roman Empire, you might do it, but
I've seen it
not this early.
I think I've seen it from our two English players before. Like, in theory, it should feel a bit better than the HRE's way, because like that villager is also an attacker as well with the short bow, right? But the problem is like the reason it works so well for the HRE is they have a 40% buffer to most of the starting eco, right? Because they have 12 starting villages, 8 of them will be buffed up. Then once you hit feudal, they're all going to be buffed up the Archon. English don't have that benefit.
Yeah, it's a good point. We'll have to wait and see how it plays, but yeah, you can see I can already just feel those walls going up, but I'm curious to see what MarineLorD does from here. So we do see the second dock is now going to be coming down from him straight onto gold quite early on here. We take a look at the town center radius and just see how much coverage he's got on this gold mine. If there are men-at-arms going to be coming through and looking to attack here. We're right on board.
They can
from his perspective. There we go. Yeah. So there you go. So it doesn't even cover the baseline of the gold. So this could be a really solid. There's the men-at-arms coming through now, and have a look at the gold that he's got through. This is an earlier men-at-arms than the previous game that we saw. The previous game we saw, he had collected 190 out of the 200 gold he needed to age up when the first men-at-arms arrived.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, like, to the exact number there. And, like, the difference here is, like, the second men-at-arms is quickly behind it. This isn't one of those very kind of half-assed openings that we're used to seeing from the English, where you get 1 MAA. This is a 12-villager start. He can afford 2 while still pushing fishing boats. It does mean he delays his second dock, though. It's only now going up on the English side. Meanwhile, MarineLorD, he already set up his dock, and this is something cool to note that MarineLorD does frequently. A lot of Chinese players do this. The corner dock drop. So that when there's an assault that happens on the water side, they still have a very safe haven where the fishing boats can just drop off.
Yeah, I like this a lot. Now, one thing to note, as was pointed out by our lovely observer, Dr. Dabston, MarineLorD has now got enough resources to age up, simply because of the Imperial official picking up the tax. And we do see the Barbican going to be coming down. So even though he gets in a little bit earlier with the men-at-arms, doesn't really do too much with it. And I think you got to ask the question, you know, what does the men-at-arms actually really achieve here? If anything, I feel like this Barbican might be a little bit too far away from that wood line. How are you feeling about this Barbican?
It's going to tickle on the way in, but if you approach from the north side, you can still breach. So MarineLorD's kind of created a situation where you can short wall this side and long wall the other. Yep. Essentially, you just create like a parallel wall, right? Instead of doing that kind of straight wall out, it's slanted.
Yeah. I do like that. God, it's a lot of sheep, isn't it? That sheep is like begging to have like a 3 TC Sog Dynasty play go. Like I just see that and I'm like, yeah, like just research horticulture, put an Imperial official on it. You're gonna feel good on it.
So like, I think the voice would be "Eat me." God, that sounds horrifying. Actually, I don't know. Sorry, folks. I don't know.
Scout goes down. That's gonna put MarineLorD in a bit of a tough spot. Yeah, he's going to need to put down a stable to get another scout out. Otherwise, he's going to have to go go to the town center, which would be an option, but then it's like losing a Vil.
Like, it's interesting because the Chinese player just lost a big advantage, right? The Tang Dynasty, that extra vision. Because that was one thing I wanted to highlight in regards to like that idea of like, oh, this men-at-arms player is worthless. In some ways, it's good because it forces the Barbican first. But on the flip side, you could argue that, you know, if you're Chinese, you should always know if this men-at-arms player is coming because of that superior scouting vision you have.
Yeah, that's true. I guess the problem is that you also have to just... actually, you know what? Yeah, because you don't really kind of see the men-at-arms in the middle of the map.
Yeah, you're like the only thing that happens if you forfeit, say, an extra 20% cheap is you do give like an opportunity for your opponent to play land only, but that still puts them on the clock and allows you to like dedicate to the thing that wins this map, which is of course water. Something that MarineLorD is racing across the field with. So many fishing boats here. That could force a lot of idle time. Wait, shoot deeper. Shoot.
Don't those arrows just look so flimsy when they come out? Yeah, it's like... take my arrows. I don't know why they're French. I just imagine like French arrows are just a lot flimsier than other arrows. Maybe because MarineLorD's French as well.
Oh, because maybe it's like they use the rapiers, right? They use the foil. They do play with the foils a lot. So Finn Sword's like, oh yeah, that's not sturdy. That's not strong.
It's definitely not.
It's fancy,
it's French.
Though. And I'm just remembering, like, it kind of has that Ghost of Tsushima feeling, you know, where like if you don't hold the full bow drawback, you just like you get this pathetic little release.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. It's just, it's such a, the sound that it makes. It's not like the sound. It's like the, it's like it's flicking a rubber band out right there.
We should get custom noises, right? Yeah, they should go, like this weird, crappy noise coming out from archer ships.
Oh, jeez. All right, well, it does look like MarineLorD did opt for a stable on land. 2 horsemen out already, 2 in queue. So he's looking to commit to a bit of an aggressive or an offensive over on land as well. And interestingly, not a lot of ships out for him at the moment. 2 galleys and the war junk.
Is that a villager?
Other than that...
So, where are you going?
There's a villager. That's a chop through.
He doesn't...
I think he's going for a chop through. But yeah, he's...
you're going to be seen by the Barbican. You can be sniped by the horse.
Hold on. Did his pathing... Is his pathing messed up? Why is he pathing
I don't understand this. Like, did he waypoint it?
Yeah. He waypointed it, but look at the waypoint. It's
oh my
really,
god, yeah.
It's really bugged, and he's now only realized.
Oh no.
And now he's going to expose the fact that he had that. Can we get MarineLorD's perspective?
He sees it all.
And just get his line of... Can we get the line of sight just to make sure that we can see that?
Like, that's a Barbican. There's no way that he did not see that. Yeah, he sees it the entire way.
Yeah. So he's just telegraphing. He's like, hey, I brought a Vil. I'm going to be chopping through. Thank you.
Yeah, but meanwhile, Vortex gets the experience of, hey, no, I'm in your base for MarineLorD. The horsemen aren't here to kill the villager, but they are here to kill villagers elsewhere.
Surely he just doesn't let this in, right? Like,
you think not, right? Or you just like build another wall, just another chain wall while you get the counter out. I mean, he's got the ability to build archers here. He just hasn't done it yet.
I think this wall is now exposed.
Is he just distracted?
Right, like
Demo?
Surely not. That's going to be distracted. Oh, Demo's distracted. Demo falling asleep on the job. Villagers through. Men-at-arms on the back line. I feel like I'm watching a replay from the semi-final. MarineLorD got a little bit caught up on the keyboard. Too much cheese, not enough wine, it seems. And unfortunately, MarineLorD just going to be evacuating the dance floor as the villagers escape and all of the... Oh, jeez, that demo. Oh, that demo.
Okay, that was fortunate. That archer ship saved MarineLorD. If it wasn't for that, that might have been the coup de grace that gets us into a game 4.
Speaking of game number 4, I mean, you got Men-at-Arms in the base. He's copping a lot of flack at the moment. No, not a lot of villagers did go down there, but he is idle quite a bit, and he can just camp up. He did have the villager in there as well. I'd be tempted just to throw down an outpost, even just for the memes at this point. But
we're just gonna maybe we should just wall that piece off. Not let more of these guys in, because Vortex is sending more. He's queued up more Men-at-Arms. He sees this weakness and he sees what it gets him, right? This is classic Vortex. This is the thing that we called them the masters of Holy Island for. If I don't win on land, you can bet your damn ass off I'm going to win on sea. And he's achieving that. There's a big difference in this game. Remember, when this was MarineLorD versus Lucifron, Lucifron couldn't get this deep. He couldn't force this imminent fight that will destroy the entire eco. Look at where MarineLorD is this time around. He's in the corner. Now, I know they say no one puts baby in a corner, but we need to hear MarineLorD cry before we believe he's a baby.
That is a really solid point. I mean, just take a look at how deep back he is right here. In that previous game that we saw from him, played on this map, up against Lucifron, there was so much more room for him to wiggle. But now it just feels like he is so stuck back here. Just barely got anything to do. Is there going to be a transition on... There's going to be a transition on land. That's 7 vills on stone. So he's going to go 2 TC at the very least. I feel like if you're going to be contesting the English in this situation, you might even want to be thinking about a 3rd TC.
I think you have to, right? Like, what you're giving away on water. And I think you are 1 fight away from giving it away. Like, look what Vortex is doing. It's the classic 3-4 demo ship play. This is enough to just destroy him. 2 demos hit that fishing boat mass. It doesn't matter if they miss the ships, right? If they get the fishing boats, that's the entire fleet gone. Demos in.
Oh, it's close. It's close.
He has to trigger the
More demos coming through. It's a double demo.
He didn't get
It's a double demo dip. 2 managed to make it through.
Yeah, but the counter demos, they exploded, but they done no damage to Vortex's demos. So it's just heavy damage, and now a bigger lead building. Look at that Springle count.
Springle chip numbers up to 9 for Vortex here compared to the 4 for MarineLorD. It looks almost certain he's going to be losing the water. The emplacements coming through on the dock as well, going to help repel this a little bit, but a counterattack is happening on the other side of the map in the Vortex base. We'll take a look and see exactly what's happening. It looks like it might just be a couple of horsemen over there.
Vortex
Same time.
hasn't committed the whole fleet. The second wave is on the way, so this is deceptive. Like, MarineLorD's going to get baited out, and when the second wave comes in, he can not just push MarineLorD onto shoreline fish, he can probably snipe out like half of the fishing boats.
All right. Did rebuild that scout as well. I'm curious to see the base of MarineLorD and just how he's doing with regard to his economic side, but we'll worry about that later. Because right now, yeah, there we go. All right, yeah, he's dug in pretty deep. Still only the 6 vills on stone.
This is just
I
for
wonder what he's going to be
emplacements.
doing with his stone.
Remember, like, is it 75 wood, 125 stone, if I recall correctly? Like, they're not cheap.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, that's got to be the case, surely.
Demos are at least going to, you know, hold it back, but holding it back isn't good enough now, right? Like, you're on shoreline fish, your fishing fleet isn't as big as Vortex is anymore. You need to get space.
He is, yeah. He's looking to try and push this out. Could we potentially see a Jukunu all in from MarineLorD to try and finish this game off? Could be an option from him.
How do you end the game quick enough then, right?
75 Jukunu.
Okay, I like your thinking, Drongo. I dream hard, but how are you getting 75 Jukunu? Are you borrowing them from someone else's game?
Yeah, 3DBs. I remember. Look at this little push that he's got coming out over on the east wing, though. I do like the fact he's investing into this. We do see the second TC thrown down as well. He's going to be going on the deer patch. Excuse me, MarineLorD, didn't you have like 48 sheep? Why are we going down on the deer? Can we have a look and see how much sheep MarineLorD's got back in the base? I need to double check this.
But MarineLorD is a pet owner, Drongo, right? It's a cat, and he looks at sheep, and they're just as fluffy and cute. He doesn't want to hurt them. He's a nice guy.
Why are you putting this town center on a deer patch?
Because he's not a monster, Drongo.
Deer patch right now. He's got so much good stuff going on in his base right there. I would have put this TC right next to my main one, but look, he's the world champ. I'll allow it. He's even rallying towards the deer or towards the sheep. MarineLorD, you are a monster.
Drongo, but you got to think about this, right? Like, you and me, like, we are merely peons in his kingdom, right? He's the Red Bull Wall champion. We can only afford kebab. He can afford venison. It's that simple.
That's a good point. And venison is delicious.
Well, it's not so delicious, these shoreline fish. I mean, I want to get myself some tuna. I don't think MarineLorD can deep water fish anymore. It's a big difference, right? Like, even after the buffs, it's 0.7 for shoreline compared to 0.9 on deep.
Yeah, good call. I like the way that MarineLorD's just adding in additional docks, not making, like, he's building up his war junks, but he's just adding in more docks and getting more upgrades on the or getting more emplacements through, building up that base defense on the water. I'm surprised we just don't see the meta where there's just a whole bunch of docks along that shoreline.
Like,
all with emplacements.
I've been calling for it for a long time. I actually think, like, I remember I analyzed back a few like qualifier games, some players didn't make it. Like HRE Abbassids especially can do this. You just create that Seagate castle we talked about, right? Like, for those who know the history, like, it basically was a keep on each side of a strait. And you can do that with the central island, but it is a big investment, right? It's hard to do early on. 150 wood per dock. Then you have to spend another 200 resources for the emplacements. That's why it's a very slow process.
All right, well, MarineLorD going to be on the defensive here as the galleys and hulks work together in tandem. A couple of demo ships trying to sneak through, managing to do it. Going to be going up against his enemy's demo ships.
That's a heavy hit.
Everybody getting taken out, and only a few heavy hitters getting through, but nothing too crazy.
But look at the military pop cap, right? That's the thing I just keep looking at, the difference here. It's still MarineLorD catching up on water. And even if he does now catch up, right, you got to consider the eco difference has been achieved by fishing, right? Like, sure, he's got the second TC. Sure, it's kind of padding him. But the English have been fishing happily. And also, their ships have been cheaper, which has allowed him to mass more troops on land.
Yeah, this is a good call. Let's see how much how much damage these demos can do. First one gets sniped out. Second one, beautiful splits coming through from MarineLorD. Looks like a hit comes through on one of his war junks, but not enough to take it out.
It's kind of weird.
And MarineLorD somehow pushing out from this position, right? Like, he's doing it, isn't he?
Well, the weird part to me that I was going to highlight is, like, you know, VortiX at one point you had 4 demos. I was expecting the same play we saw from Lucifron, where you just hard commit demos onto the dock, get rid of it, and then you gain some more ground. You slow down the reproduction. But now, this is turning.
You're not wrong. It is definitely turning. MarineLorD managing to find a way out here. He's looking to try and pincer the enemy as well. A lot of galleys down here, which means that these guys are exposed. We see another demo ship coming in from the right side of the screen. Gets taken out by the junk here. He's having a good game, but I think MarineLorD might actually have this. He's got the 2 TC advantage. He's managed to keep it even on water.
Oh. Also land. Like, that was the thing. I was going to say, actually, if you look at water, like, Spiral Ship count looks good for VortiX. But MarineLorD distracted. He kept pressuring, forcing the start step back by VortiX. And VortiX just lost the Vanguard army. He had, like, what? I think it was 12, 13 longbows, a few more men-at-arms. That count just got cut in half.
Well, earlier I mentioned the prospect
oh,
of
no.
the Chukunu push.
We're a third away there. We're a third away.
Are on the field.
We just need 50 more.
The question is going to be whether he goes heavily into them. It looks like it's going to be Castle Age instead. Have a look how many vills we've got on gold at the moment. We'll switch that over from our village account over towards income so you can get a better idea of where these economies are at. But before we do that, we're going to take a look at this little battle that is slowly but steadily unfolding.
I think
huge numbers of Springled ships.
I think VortiX just, if he can't win water in the next minute, this just turns into a cruise mode for the Chinese. Like, the eco is absurdly big at this stage. I mean, I'm impressed by how he was able to sustain land with the lack of food access and water. I really thought VortiX's lead would be bigger than this.
No.
Where you going, little ones? Where you going?
Oh, count them. 1, 2, 3. I feel like I'm counting with my toddler right now.
Yeah, you got to do it properly. It's 1, 2, If I reach 10, you have to tap out. That's the way it works here. VortiX at least got rid of one of the docks, but MarineLorD is now going up. This is all a ruse, a distraction. While he idles eco at the base of VortiX, he booms up in his own.
MarineLorD unironically holding in the base of VortiX with his Shukanu as well. I don't know if you saw that, but he was like, come on, I'll take you to school. Let's go. So I think the big question here is whether MarineLorD's going to be able to maintain this mass on the water and get his upgrades through, because he's going to be looking to get both of his upgrades, and we can see them coming through now. So looking to pick up that additional armor, that additional health, and of course the springled that kind of backs them up. What's it called? The springled cruise, the armored hull.
The extra range, yeah. It's like, which obviously got Admiralty on the other side, so it kind of evens things up. But like, I am now really worried for VortiX. I don't know how you tech up when you're now, I'd say you're actually kind of in a like more balanced situation with water. Like, it looks like he's winning by the numbers, but you have no way of stopping MarineLorD now. He's always going to exist here.
Springled through, Springled cruise comes through, and we also see armored hull arriving. That's going to give MarineLorD a huge advantage. He's got 12 hulks, or 12 war junks up against the 15 hulks of his opponent, but keep in mind, these ships are much higher strength than his opponents.
And also another cool thing that I think helped MarineLorD a lot earlier is he was quicker into the blacksmith upgrades. Like, you see them there. A point where MarineLorD had both the range and defense and aggressive upgrades, like VortiX didn't have any. The only thing he had was wheelbarrow and lumberjack. So just great tech usage by MarineLorD. I think that is a big part of why he was able to hold each time being outnumbered.
Relic's also getting picked up by MarineLorD. This guy just doesn't forget about anything, does he? It is impressive to watch. It's impressive to witness. MarineLorD in all of his glory. It looks like he's firing on all cylinders finally. A Knight also going to be coming out and hitting this gold. He wants to prevent any kind of age up from coming through right now. As long as he's able to idle that gold, then it means that no prospect of age 3 is going to be coming through for VortiX.
And this is VortiX feigning strength when really he's weak. Like, he's going to lose the entire fleet to try and keep MarineLorD here. He needs all the food he can get up into Castle Age. These demo ships, once again, aren't going to find the maximum impact they were looking for. The final one is decent, but you don't need decent. You need amazing here.
Yeah, you need a demo ship from game number 2 to save you right now. There is, and I'll tell you what, that's going to be tough. Expansion out towards this gold.
How much, like, the fact that he's used that much gold in Feudal Age. He exhausted an entire gold vein.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's only got 66 gold in the coffers. Like, there's no Castle Age coming through right now. This is all just feudal units. It's impressive stuff, honestly. These guys are really evenly matched here.
Well, evenly matched across the series, but in this game, really starts to feel like MarineLorD is finding the answer on Holy Island. Demo ships are going to sneak in. MarineLorD taking a mid-game snooze. Heavy hit. Will dent the fleet, but MarineLorD
managed to take out 4 sprinkled ships there. That's pretty decent of a trade.
I mean, but just look at the numbers. Like, look at the overall numbers. Once again, like, decent is not good enough for Vortex. He needs an overwhelming victory on the water to feel in this game. He still hasn't teched up. It's finally underway, but how long is this now that MarineLorD has been ahead? Like 3-4 minutes of Castle Age?
Yeah, it's been about that. He's already started picking up the relics. He's on relic number 2 right now. He's going to be working for that 3rd relic shortly. He's having a blast of a game.
Now, I wonder, are we getting any, like, extension on land? Like, is there a possibility that granaries are being set up by MarineLorD? Because he's floating an absurd amount of wood now. He needs to find a use for it.
Has he still got those sheep? I want to know.
Oh, no, they're gone.
Where are they? They're gone.
Monster!
You did it. How about the deer? The deer are still on the map. I reckon the deer is still there. Let's have a look and see.
Is there just like one he missed under the TC, right?
Yeah, it could be. I reckon it could be.
He just left one.
Almost.
Okay.
Yeah. Just a single deer just chilling out.
So 2 issues with this MarineLorD. Like, 1, you can't like reproduce a population with 1, and 2, they can't reproduce when they're dead.
It's unfortunate when you're not asexual. I think is that the term when you can just breed by yourself?
It's I think asexual is when you don't, like, is that not when you have no interest in sex? I think, or is that pansexual? No, we're gonna have to go through a class, Drongo. We're gonna have to relearn our terms.
Just like, you know what? I'm just gonna move on from this. We've got some lancers in the base.
How about how sexy this game is starting to look? I know you said you love your English and your Chinese, and it is going the distance. Only 22 minutes in, but you start to feel like we could be here a while yet, unless MarineLorD wants to hard commit for an end now. But
yeah, this is it. Take a look at this. VortiX really looking to push out. He's got a pretty significant force here. He's actually going almost all in on galleys. He's up to 12 galleys, and he's making 2 more, which makes me think he may have hit critical mass, or at least what he thinks is critical mass.
So we just encountered a big issue here. Where's the other gold for Vortex? Is it not in the same direction that this army just came from?
What gold?
I mean, shoreline gold. Bold.
It's the classic shoreline gold.
And the chicken.
Lose the water, lose the gold. Oh my
Our
lord.
ancestors, once upon a time, came here to murder villagers. We want to follow in their footsteps. Oh my god.
Oh my god. There it is. This is what Crackety here talked about. He said there is a window in this matchup where China are able to take advantage, and that's early Imperial. It's one of the rare windows that China have in this matchup. And MarineLorD now, ahead of the curve, hits the Imperial Age.
Now, you know, for a moment, I felt like you wanted to surrender when all those short bows came out, but now Vortex might feel the other way. This is the one-punch man moment. His anime hero arc. 5 demo ships. If he cannot fully secure water to invest on land, he will feel the full wrath of the Chinese Imperial.
He's doing a decent job, slowly but steadily pushing up. A couple of demos sneaking their way through, but beautiful splits coming out from MarineLorD. Just like a game of StarCraft 2, he splits these ships like he would through a potential baneling attack. But we see more demo ships coming out and big hits coming in. MarineLorD going to be able to hold on water easily. And I think it might just be a good game here. He's up 40 villages. He's in Imperial. His enemy is in absolute dire straits. There's no gold left, and there is no outcome in this game other than a good game for MarineLorD. Game number 3 is finished. We're on to game number 4, baby.
You talked about the splits. He understood the head split was on the way. I was just watching that count on the top. When he finally called that GG, 20 Palace Guard almost had been amassed. 20 Imperial Palace Guard. There is just no stopping that at that stage. So understandable GG call comes out. What a way for MarineLorD to turn this one about. Just proving, even with a diversion in the strategy, even with the way that VortiX pivoted compared to what we saw from Lucifer in this matchup earlier today, he still has the solution. And key and core to that solution, still, Drongo, are those emplacements. You saw how much damage was added in. I still, to this day, wish we had a kill count on buildings and units, because I can't imagine how many kills those docks got by the lonesome.
Yeah, those docks were absolutely essential for his holding on water. There were a number of times where it looked like he was going to be tapping out there,